What happened?
Same old story. Morty's killing Mortys.
Go. Of course that one was short. Come on, come on, come on. One left. Last smack. Alright. Yeah, that's good. I got all kinds of cool breath. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and this is Regular Guy Training. I figured that you guys would like that little beginning part where I'm just kind of showing off exactly how jacked up the pistol is before I used these to clean the thing up. It wasn't even really a good cleaning. I missed a ton of shit, but I needed you guys to at least be able to see the parts. And the reason why I did that was because, I don't know about you guys, but something I'm a little tired of is looking around for 1911 reviews and seeing a whole bunch of pistols that are like never shot. Brand ass new, clean as fuck all the time, and you see him shoot like a couple of rounds through it, maybe 100, and you know, stuff like 500 rounds or 1,000 is a lot. So you know, I figured you guys would appreciate that because I put a bunch of rounds through the thing without cleaning it at all. To be precise, 1,500. Now, before we even get started here, let's go ahead and talk about round count. Right, you guys saw it. That was a tick over 1,500 rounds shot because this is not my pistol. This is owned by my buddy Travis. He put around about 1,500 rounds through it because he shot over my round count at my performance pistol class. Cleaned it, shot a little bit with it, and then didn't clean it a second time before handing it off to me for me to do this review, and then I just shot 1,500 rounds through it. So rounding down, we're gonna say 3,000 on this gun total, right? What you saw was 1,500 without a cleaning. So, which by the way, for those that don't know, That's not a fucking lot. Okay? It's not a lot. Stop saying it's a lot, especially on 1911. These guns will work if they're made right. So, jumping off of that soapbox, because I've got a bunch of them. So, let's talk about this thing. This is the Emperor Scorpion from Sig. This is in 45, blah, blah, blah. You guys know this stuff. That's why you're interested in looking at it in the first place. This is one of those pistols that is meant for guys that shoot pistols a lot and carry them. And I like that fact, especially since it's a production company that's on its shit, which is great because you're not paying a custom gun price, although it's definitely more than a Glock. You're still not paying Nighthawk custom prices and stuff for a gun that's going to work, which, I'm all about production guns that run well, because it's a straight up out the box type thing. I don't have to wait months for it. I don't have to pay a kidney and a quarter in order to have it, and that kind of thing. So let's talk about this guy. Minus the light that's on it, obviously. This pistol straight out the box. Nothing was altered on it and that kind of shit. So we'll go basically from top to bottom on it. We're going to go ahead and start with the sights, which I personally hate. I know that sounds very contradictory because it sounded like I was starting to really talk up the pistol, and there's going to be more of that coming. But I personally hate these. Number one, I'm not a big fan of 3-dot sight setups, but that's not the part that kind of kills me. It's actually two things. Number one, this sloped rear sight, personally, if I'm doing one-hand manipulations or of whatever variety, I personally would rather not have to use the E-port and use a ledged rear sight or something like that, especially on a 45 caliber recoil spring. They're just heavier. So, trying to hook an E-port on a 9mm pistol is annoying enough. You get the idea. Also, the dots themselves in the daylight, especially if sun's a little bit behind you, they glare up quite a bit more than a standard set of sights. And you'll catch glare regardless. It doesn't matter what kind of sighting system you have. If the sun is behind you, you'll notice that the sun is behind you in your sights. It's just to what degree. And some pistol sight setups are really good at that. Some are not. These are not. They're terrible at it. And does it make your job really difficult as far as hitting stuff further away or stuff that's small? No, not really. But it's irritating, And for a pistol that's around about $1,000 plus, I'm good. I would rather not have that. So the first thing I would personally do if this was my pistol is remove those and replace them. The front sight is not staked in, it's roll pinned in because you can see the dovetail in it and that kind of stuff. Okay, no big deal. That, again, difference from a GI type 1911. The slide serrations on it are rather deep cut and, separated apart enough to where you can get a good grip on the rear slide serrations and run them. They're very effective. These front slide serrations suck ass, and they're absolutely useless. I don't know why people do this shit. The M&P 2.0 line does this crap as well. Just put in full serrations if you want to put them in there. I get it if they're in there for aesthetics only, but then don't advertise them as having front slide serrations. It's kind of shitty, honestly. I hate it. And I'm going to jump off this soapbox too. So, 1913 style rail on the dust cover of this pistol. It's functional. It doesn't push out super far from the frame, which is really good. And very clearly, it works well because it hangs on to things, like lights and whatnot. So, that works out very well. Generally speaking, 1911s have rather short dust covers, so if you're used to a Glock dust cover and a light, you're going to notice that you're going to have to bring that thumb in a little bit more. It's just a fact of life. It's shit you're going to have to deal with. So, there is that. Moving around to the controls really quick, let's touch on on this manual safety lever. Now, the lever itself is kind of short, but they are easy to engage in that kind of thing. I personally prefer longer safety levers because I use that as part of the grip, and I've caught myself while shooting this thing just not using them at all as part of my grip, to where I'll just kind of push it out like so. And I like to just kind of pin these down to make sure that they don't get pressed back up, especially on a recoil and shooting fast, or just moving a lot and that kind of thing, to where my palm won't engage that safety again. Has that caused a problem? No. And part of the reason why has not caused a problem is because they're very loud. And one of the reasons why they're very loud is that the snick is very positive. There's no rolling, no squishing, none of that. It's as it should be. It's very apparent when this thing engages or disengages, so that's good to go. The hammer is skeletonized. Now, a lot of guys don't know why hammers get skeletonized on hammer-fired pistols. Some people think they look absolutely retarded. I'm in that camp. I don't like how they personally look, but I do know why they are there. And the reason is very similar to a lightning cut on a pistol slide. The idea is to get it to track a little bit faster. Now, when you're pressing on the trigger and the sear trips, this has what's called a hammer down speed, the speed of the hammer moving down. And if there's more weight to it, it takes longer. If there's less weight to it, it takes shorter. So that's the reason for this. Is it something that you will readily notice if you don't shoot 1 billion rounds a year of hammer-fired pistol? No, you won't. You won't notice it at all. Like, at all. But a nice little touch is still a nice little touch, and I'm glad it's there. This right here, okay? A lot of 1911 guys do know that, especially on some of the budget guns and that kind of thing, these grip safety springs are not always made equal. Some of them are stupid heavy for what they are designed for. All they are designed to do is to make sure the trigger doesn't engage if you don't grip the pistol. Some of, especially like these cheaper guns, require you to have a real good, firm, tight grip on the pistol in order to disengage that trigger safety, or in order to disengage that safety, rather. My issue with that is if you are in a weird one-handed position or that kind of shit, I would still like my gun to work. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm going to try to take out tigers like Tom Hanks and that kind of thing. But at the same time, I would like my gun to work when I have my friggin' hand around the pistol and I'm trying to shoot the damn thing. This does not have that problem. They're fairly light. The beaver tail actually works out really good too, so you don't have to worry about hammer bite, none of that stuff. So, solid all the way around. Magazine release button is exactly that. There's nothing notable to say about it. It's at a good location. It's not recessed super far. You can reach it. You can press it. No big deal. This is slightly extended. Now, for some guys, they can actually reach this thing. I cannot personally, because especially when I have like a solid centered up grip on the pistol. As many of you know, I've been shooting right-handed exclusively for the last 5 months. I cannot reach this fucker to save my life unless I alter my grip a lot, and some guys do, which is really no big deal. But the problem is that with my regular grip, I can reach this and press it. So I have a tendency to just press it, and then I just can't get it. I can barely touch it, but I can't get it. Not consistently anyway, and that's just me barely touching that ass end of that. So what I've had to do instead is what a lot of guys do, and that's after they insert the magazine, they just use their support hand thumb. It's dropped, goes back to work. Now, my buddy Travis has absolutely no problem tripping that slide lock lever over and over and over again, but that's him. So this may help you. It may not matter at all because you can't reach it. It's on you. The trigger in the thing is exactly what a lot of guys buy 1911s for. It lies to you about your present abilities with a pistol. That's just a fact. 1/8 inch break by 1/8 inch reset. There's a little bit of dead air in the pistol straight out the box. This right here, this dead air before you start stacking weight, is adjustable. So you can adjust how much of this there is. I personally like having a little bit of slop in there. So if I'm trying to take a really precise shot, I can basically stage it to where it's like air, wait, and then slowly press through. Some guys like different things, which is why it's adjustable. So That 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch. 1911-esque. It lies to you about your abilities, and it's why a lot of guys buy these friggin' pistols, myself included, because triggers in them are nice and they shoot fairly flat. So that's it. Moving on, we have the G10 Piranha grips. I personally like them. Some guys may or may not. It depends really on your preferences. They're pretty aggressive, which I really like, but they're also a little rounded because you have that like golf ball type stippling from what looks like a really aggressive head. No big deal. Checkering up front, and the Piranha grips go to the mainspring housing as well. Now, here's the thing about these grips in here, and it holds true with like every factory 1911 ever. A lot of 1911 manufacturers go in understanding that their customer base will replace shit. So, either they won't apply Loctite to the little screws that hold these things on at all, or they'll throw in that just about useless shit. That's like that white drop that you get, or that yellow drop that you get on a lot of like Magpul accessories, for instance. And after a certain number of rounds, it's not definitive, obviously, but after you shoot the thing a bunch, you'll notice that the grips are coming loose. See what I'm talking about? That one moves more. Every 1911 that you buy, you basically have to pull those out, put a proper amount of Loctite on the screws and in the threads that the screws are threading into. Thread them back up, and you won't have that problem ever. Because 45 is going to do 45 shit. So accept it, deal with it. That's just something you have to deal with, along with the long list of other things that you have to deal with in 1911 land, because 1911s are 100-year-old pistols, and the designs are quite fucking outdated, let's be honest with ourselves. So moving forward from that, right? I like this. I like this a lot. The main reason why I like this is because, if I wasn't on the right-handed sauce for the last 5 months, I would have shot this left-handed. What is kind of an issue with shooting 1911s left-handed is that I can't shoot them like I normally would shoot my Glocks. Like, this is my grip for that, right? One of the reasons why I like extended levers is that I can pin that down, and I basically have to adjust my grip to make sure that my shit's out the way. Now, with a 45, it doesn't really care. It'll get you out of the way one way or another. But with this little cut on the E-port, it helps. Whether or not you have that aggressive freaking, I don't have to worry about this E-port back here grip, right? That you just don't have to worry about with Glocks, because they have a huge square cut for their E-port. This little cut right here, because I've shot Scorpions before, this little cut right here basically ensures that you barely notice the brass, if at all. On most regular cut 1911s and 45, I start getting cut a bit on my thumb, which really is no big deal, but it's just a fact of life if you're left-handed. This is like a little quality of life boost for me individually, and it also enhances the reliability of the pistol, so I really like that individually. This right here, this external extractor, is also fantastic. Okay, this extractor is held in place by this pin. Okay, so much like a lot of modern auto loading pistols, it's under spring tension. Not sure if you can see it, but it's under spring tension. It'll move if you press on it. So it's just a spring, okay, that's being held in, similar to most extractors right now. So if you have extraction issues or a lot of fanning, and you can tell that your extractor is getting weak, you can just drive that pin out, replace assembly or replace spring, and we're done. We don't have to worry about tuning. Tuning is not tremendously difficult. It really isn't. It's just something that you have to learn. And you straight up don't have to do any of that. It's just easy now. It takes all the specialness out of making sure that your ejection's right. And I'm all for that. Anything that gets me back up to the shooting part is something I'm in favor of. So I really do enjoy that fact about this pistol. Now, Taking this guy apart is very much like most 1911s. And like most good 1911s, it starts out pretty tight when the pistol's new. Pretty tight meaning, getting this slide lock lever out is a little bit of a chore. You have to do some wiggling and that kind of stuff. And like every machine ever, as you start to shoot it a whole bunch, it gets a little bit easier. The pistol gets a little bit more loose, that kind of thing. Cool thing about this pistol is that unlike a lot of budget guns that are out there, it's not stupid loose out the gate and it's not too tight. So while it does start tighter, 3,000 rounds down the road, it's loosened up a little bit as far as this disassembly is concerned. It's not stupid loose either, so it's got that right amount of play in there, which is really good. A lot of pistols come out the factory with tolerances that are absolutely fucking ridiculous, to the point where there is a my gun is trash period, otherwise known as a break-in period, which I'm not a fan of in the least. I don't think there should ever be an excuse as to why your gun doesn't fucking work. But off that horse, or soapbox rather. Taking this apart, you can tell it's on the inside. It's very much, it's very similar to a standard 1911 as far as action type. You have a little bit of difference as far as cut on barrel hood itself. No real big differences here. You have a standard guide rod in here, which is great because there are a lot of two-piece full-length guide rods that are in there, and my experience with them in the past is that a two-piece guide rod tends to come into two pieces. I thoroughly, whether or not it's a full length or a GI length, it's got to be one piece for me. So the fact that it's a GI standard is not a problem at all. I personally have no issues with it whatsoever. Some guys will say that a single piece full length guide rod helps smooth out the recoil impulse a little bit. I tend to agree a little, not to the degree that some guys will try and make it sound like, but it does smooth it out a little bit, and a little bit is a little bit, especially if you're trying to use this pistol to up your name on the little win list there, or the leaderboards there. If you're shooting competition and that kind of thing. Now, this is not a standard type recoil spring. This is more of a flat wire type. In my experience, flat wire type springs tend to be a little longer lasting than the standard ones. Now, of course, you have like chrome silicon and all that shit that's been added to the game. So, it's a flat wire or chrome silicon. It works great either way. I've used a lot of them in rifles before, and they work great. And over the course of this thing's 3,000 round life so far, 3,000-ish, there's a little bit more in there, but I can't account for it directly, so I'm not going to put it in. I had zero issues whatsoever with impulse or anything like that. It felt exactly the same from the first round I shot all the way up to the 1,500th round I shot. So, no big deal there. And then, of course, you have a standard freaking bushing, freaking all that other stuff in there. So here's an additional thing that I individually really like about this pistol. A lot of 1911s have this. This is your firing pin block, right? Now, this prevents your, while cocked and locked, this prevents your firing pin from, if the gun is dropped, from gathering enough inertia to fire the round that's chambered. Which is great, especially if you carry the gun around a lot, especially if you have a pretty active lifestyle. That is fantastic. You could drop this thing off a multi-story roof right on the nose, no issues. I like this addition. As there's a lot of them in a lot of different pistols, so this is just one of them, and I like that. And for those that don't know, there's a little groove worn in there by this dingus right here. Hold on. By this little dingus right here, right? And what's kind of funny is that there are a lot of budget pistols that are out there, like for instance Taurus comes to mind, where these things look like absolute fucking trash. Like they just look like they've been gnarled up and beat to hell, and it looks like somebody tried to throw it into a wood chipper before installing it into the pistol, which just makes me all kinds of nervous that my drop safety disengagement lever, right, is looking really beat the fuck up, right? So what's the point if you're gonna put a piece of shit in the gun? So, getting off of that soapbox too. Uh, Speaking of machining, everything is very SIG-esque, okay? Like, there's no fucking blatant errors or stupid corners cut or none of that shit. Everything is done well. Slide and frame are stainless, by the way. So, good shit. Works good. Holds together well. I'm impressed. Now, let's talk about reliability, okay? As you guys have probably gathered from this whole thing, this pistol has been great. Nothing even approaching an issue whatsoever from this pistol, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do, and that was simply its job. It has been boringly reliable, which is the most praise that I can give for any pistol, not just a friggin' 1911. Some of you may be surprised to hear that the word 1911 and boringly reliable in the same sentence. They do exist, guys. But it's been nothing but awesome since the word go. Although, my buddy Travis was 100% aware that it is me that he's loaning a pistol to, and there were chances that I would have absolutely murdered his pistol amidst the testing and all that stuff. This thing has come right through it with absolutely no issue whatsoever. Oh, by the way, the grips make themselves their own little one-piece mag well, so that it really does help. It makes reloads quite a bit easier to do, and it's subtle. It's not ridiculous and fucking giant. So works out pretty good. It's a nice addition. Now, let's talk about the thing that I despise the most about this pistol, and that is it will not fit into standard 1911 holsters. It simply will not. There are a lot of places that do a lot of custom holster work and that kind of thing, but aside of this thing's cost, which is gonna be definitely more than something like any of the striker-fired pistols on the market, it's just something you got to deal with, because now you also have to get a holster specific to the pistol. That's fucking annoying. I don't know why that was done. Again, just like these front slide serrations, why do aesthetic shit for no reason, right? I love the vast majority of this pistol. It's got a couple of quirks, like every other pistol ever, but the little quirks that it does have are really annoying, honestly. And of course there are guys that own them, that have holsters for them, and after they got through that whole growing pain process, they love the pistol, and I see exactly why, right? But if you're looking at the cost of the pistol, and then you're looking at the cost of, now I need a weird holster, so now I have to go to like a custom Kydex place, and that will charge me more because it's a weird cut, blah, blah, blah. It's fucking annoying. But if that's all I have to say about a pistol, I have to get a real specific holster to it, and I gotta change some sights I don't like, and I'm gonna have to do my press check, which is done once a day, not 47 times a day, and before drills start, by doing it how I've always done it, and that's just gripping onto the slide. I'm okay with it. It's one of those pistols that was designed for dudes that shoot a lot, and you can tell by the ease of extractor extractor spring and extractor replacement. Good Lord, talk correctly. Making it easier to change sights, solid grips to start, solid controls to start. You could tell it was made for dudes that shoot a lot, and I very much approve of that. I really do like it when attention is pulled specifically towards guys that run guns hard. So, good job, Sig. I mean, shit, like, I had no problems out of it whatsoever. I've had more problems out of 226s over my lifetime than I've had with this pistol, which, that's something to say, I think. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say to throw this shit off a bridge or throw it into a mud puddle and all that stuff. What I am saying is that the testing was pretty uneventful. Aside the fact that I'm trying to shoot right-handed and dealing with that while also feeling like, you know, anybody that shot stupid hand with a 45 or a 9, the recoil impulse just feels like it's more, right? So getting over that whole thing and beginning to shoot fairly well with it, because of course the trigger's lying to me about my abilities. You know, I had no issues with it whatsoever. It did a good job. So, hey, I'd recommend it. Especially if you're a 1911 fag like I am, because again, the only reason why I buy them is, you know, they shoot fairly flat and the triggers lie. But yeah, hell, I'd recommend it to guys looking at them. So there you go. Now, if you guys want to come and get training with us, I just now posted a class in Tennessee. It's at the Southern Institute of Firearms Training out in, I think it's Brush Creek, Tennessee. Either way, you can check it out on the website. That's going down in April, along with all the other stuff that's going down as well. You can certainly check out our website for that kind of thing. If you want to train with us fairly cheap and often, you can go to the Patreon page that is in the description below, and you can go ahead and check out the $35 a month program that we have. Guys that sign up to that get as much training as they want from us for $35 a month. All you have to do is a little bit of math. This deal is ridiculous, okay? And if not, if you just want to throw a couple of bucks at us a month, that does go straight towards our soldier training program, where we bring guys in and we train them free of charge to them, to where their ammo, their flight, all that stuff is paid for, and we get them the training that they want. And a lot of times, eyes are opened significantly after 4 days of training with us. So, you know, if you guys want to go ahead and do that, you can. None of it's mandatory, obviously. If it were mandatory, I would have had the shit slapped out of me by now. But if you guys want to help out with that, that's great. Or if you just want, you know, some pretty cheap training that's of actual quality, yeah, I would sign up with that too. If not, if you want to check us out on Facebook, we got a Facebook page up. It's been up for a long time. You know, it is what it is. Oh, and if you want a hat, we sell hats. That too. So, I'm a quick rambling here. That's all I got. And remember, guys, a regular guy's firearm is the last defense against tyranny. Be easy.